let's make a World War I Motor Corps uniform. Hi everyone, I'm Caitlin and I teach old-fashioned sewing skills on this channel. And if you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. If you like anything such as historic clothing, costuming, making reproduction clothing, sewing, dressmaking, historic wardrobes, anything of that, I would love if you consider subscribing to the channel. And if you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. Appreciate it. So yeah, I'm getting real sick and tired of being called a nurse anytime I go do World War I, because I wear that little service cap and everyone thinks, oh, you're a nurse because you're wearing what we consider nowadays a nursing cap, but it's just a service cap. It just means that you're in service, whether that be, you know, food preparation or nursing or whatever. It's a service cap, not a nursing cap. And people today don't understand that because we only associate that with nurses. And I'm getting real tired of it. So we're going to make a new uniform. And so I have a bunch of khaki wool that has dog hair all over it. And yeah, I am going to be using Wearing History's 19 Teens suit pattern modified. I've never seen an original one of these in person. I have pictures of several from online that we're going to go through. And like I have examined plenty of, you know, 19 Teens original garments before. So I'm going to use kind of the construction of those compared with this pattern, and then also looking at the originals to kind of get you know, a really good, decent reproduction of this. So yeah, this is a very not the type of wool I usually work with. I'm sorry, I have fed the cat, but for some reason he thinks he needs more food, even though I fed him 2 minutes ago and there's no way he's done eating. It's also scratchier than most of the wools that I've dealt with before, because this is more uniform cloth than dress weight wool, which is what I'm accustomed to working with. So this should be a lot of fun. I already have all the underpinnings squared away. We are making an early World War I Motor Corps uniform, and that's designated by the khaki. So in 1918, in July, the Army came out with all volunteer people need to stop wearing the khaki because we need this cloth for the soldiers. And so the Motor Corps went to gray whipcord as opposed to the khaki uniform cloth. So this was easier and cheaper to find than gray whipcord. I did find gray whipcord, but my husband tends to like doing the early war stuff anyway, and this was a lot cheaper. So we're going with early war. But with all that out of the way, I should also mention that because I'm a procrastinator and I like to wait till the very last second to do things, I have 6 days before this event. And I know this is going to require a lot more tailoring than I'm accustomed to, because this is the 20th century and it's made like men's uniforms, which is a lot more work than the, you know, slapped together mid-19th century women's dresses. So this will be a lot of fun. Alright, we're cutting everything out. I haven't cut these that long, but I know I'm going to have to shorten. Actually, I should probably shorten them now. I haven't cut the cuffs yet, so I can cut the cuffs however size I want to. I'll cut them off at the bottom. Alright, never mind. For me. It's so hot to wear this. All this wool. Fit in with the guys, I guess. Probably will miss my nice, lovely cotton fabric. Because usually we wear this in November and I'm freezing to death at World War I events. Now we're doing this one in May. I might bring my canteen service just to have a backup outfit. And I do need to check with Rhett because the caps that all the women are wearing in photographs and the original caps I can see online all look like regular, you know, Army caps. And I'm 95% sure Rhett has an original one that I could possibly take a pattern from, considering that this pattern didn't come with that. Also, I am different sizes by 2 sizes in the waist than I am in the bust. So what I did, I wanted more room in the waist so I would be able to fit it better. So I cut the largest size at the waist and I kind of graduated it into the bust size so that it's right on the bust and then it's also correct on the waist. We are beginning with the sewing. So I'm using my great grandmother's treadle sewing machine, which is from 1907. Because that is the period correct machine for this piece. I do have a 19 Teens machine and I pulled it out, but I have the wrong shuttle for that machine. I hadn't tried to mess with it before. It's an electric one. and I need to get a new shuttle whip for it. So we're going to use Pearl instead, because my great-grandparents didn't even get this machine until the 1920s. So it's still, it was in good use, and it was used even into the 20s and 30s. So it's perfectly appropriate for a 19-teens project. And we are beginning with the skirt pieces. So I'm sewing the sides of the skirt. So the skirt is a back and 2 fronts. And I'm sewing them together at the sides. I will probably fell these seams because that seems the most logical to keep them from unraveling themselves. And we have a very nice little stitch, looks like, on both sides. And I don't think this would really ravel at all. I'm just going to go ahead and finish it off because this is supposed to be a professionally made garment. Again, this is not something you're allowed to make by hand at home. You had to have a professional seamstress make it, one that was authorized. So we're going to make this as professional as we can. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Oh, duck pepper and watermelon flavored? Mm-hmm. I love you.
Love you too. I already took my tax.
Of course you did. Alright, I have prepped the seam for felling, so we're going to fell this. This is not the right plate for this machine. I cannot find the real plate, so I'm using another plate, and it will not stay in place. It is, in theory, the right size, but when I say it's just a hair off, it is literally a hair off, so it won't go in there. All right, and then the front seam, which just needs to be stitched down. And this is the center front, so one side gets folded over about 3/4 of an inch, or sorry, not 3/4, 3/8 of an inch, and the other side is 1.5 inches. I am now working on the belt. So, I marked up the hem. It's not sewn yet. I'm going to do that by hand. Buttonholes done by machine. So I chose machine buttonholes because these were professionally made. And I asked Red about uniforms and said, are all the originals, are they machine bound buttonholes or are they hand bound? He said, I've seen both, but I'd say machine bound were more common. So because this is professionally made and it's supposed to look a little bit more militaristic, I chose machine bound buttonholes. So now for the skirt, all I have is handwork. So I have this to hem up, and then I have buttons to put on, and I have original buttons here. And they're just U.S. Army buttons, which is apparently what they were wearing on these. So 6 buttonholes, 6 buttons, that and the hem and the skirt will be done. Fun story. I'm actually surprised that you can actually see anything on the screen right now because our power is completely out. We had some huge storms blow through last night. Thankfully no one's hurt. We are missing a chicken, but hopefully she'll turn up. And most of the big tree branches, none of them hit a building, which is great. A few of them came very, very close to the chicken coop. But we are without power. We have been without power for about 13 hours now. Electric company guy just came through, looked at the damage. There's 2 lines down on our neighbor's property behind us, and that's why we don't have power. And he says it's probably gonna be another 12 hours before they can go fix it. So probably won't be fixed till the middle of the night or tomorrow morning. And I have to leave for this event tomorrow. So I have no iron. I'm thankful that I have the treadle machine so I can actually sew on the project, and of course I have my hands. I'm also just thankful that we have windows in the house where y'all can actually see what I'm doing, because I thought we were going to have to get real creative showing the last few steps of this. So I'm seeing lines for hems on the originals, but I'm not seeing a solid machine stitch line. So I'm choosing to do this by my hand because that's what it looks like the originals are. They're either lined by hand or they're hemmed. But even where the hem looks like it lays, I'm not entirely sure that would be a lined hem. It looks like this is the most logical way. Alright, here we are. So it's done. I'll sit back so you can actually see it a little bit more. It's done. I mean, I thought I'd like it a lot more, and I really don't. I think it looks okay. There are definitely some things I need to change and redo, the collar being one of them. I don't think I never put pockets on the skirt. I didn't have time. And it is overall too big for me, which means I do need to cut it down, which shouldn't be too difficult. And I don't know, it just ended up being, even in the bust, just a little too big. Particularly, which I don't have my historic underpinnings on right now because I couldn't find them. So I'm wearing modern underpinnings right now, but when I wear the 19 teens corset, it like smashes everything here, and so I end up, my bust measurement is like 2 inches smaller than it normally is, and so that's why you take your measurements over your period correct stuff, which I did not do. I forgot to do that, and I used my regular bust measurement because my bust measurement is usually the same in my 1860s corset and in my modern undergarments, in my 1880s corset, my 1830s corset, my bust measurement stays the same. But in the 19 teens and 20s, it gets squished. And I forgot to account for that when I cut this out. So I cut it out to my modern size. So it actually fits me pretty well right now. But not when I'm wearing the historic underpinnings, which is what I would normally be doing, right? So that probably does me taking in a couple of inches up here. We couldn't figure out the strap because the strap came in, the whole belt ensemble part came in 2 days before we left, and so I wasn't able to try it on. And then the day of, we go to put it on, and of course the thing is made for a man, right? So it doesn't fit. It is like goes up to here on me, and it would need to be cut down at least 5 or 6 inches. And we didn't bring any metal tools with us because we weren't expecting that. So I just took the whole strap thing off, and I wore it like this. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but this probably won't be the last time I wear this. But I may be going back to doing canteen service after this. This isn't me. I'm not a militaristic. I feel like it makes me look like a guy, except for my shape, and I don't like that. I am just not that type of person. I don't enjoy this. I did get to interact with a lot more of the public, which was nice, and like really I got to educate about motor corps and all of that. We were with the car, so it did make sense, but I did consistently get asked if I was just a female soldier, and everyone just wanted me on the field, and that's not really what I do. So I did tell them no, which they gracefully accepted, which was fantastic. But I just keep going back and forth. I haven't quite found my niche in the World War I time frame yet. I like civilian. I'm a civilian person. I like doing civilian things. With the people we hang out with, civilian isn't their thing, and I like to hang out with the people, so therefore I feel like I need to do something else other than civilian. But I'm a civilian person at heart. I like doing civilian. This was a little too far into the realm of military for me. Canteen service I really like, but I can't do that on my own. One, because I constantly get called a nurse, but also I can't really do anything with canteen service on my own because you worked in canteens with a bunch of other women who are dressed the same as you, and you served meals to soldiers. Fortunately, and actually I started on this project, and then my friend Sarah was like, hey, I'm going to do canteen service with you. What fabric did you buy? And she ended up doing canteen service that weekend. Which worked out because we had, there was someone who's doing nurse, and there was somebody who was doing motor corps, and there's somebody doing canteen service. And Sarah and then another friend, Allie, has wanted to do Donut Dolly. And so I think the three of us together have some vague plans to actually do canteen service at an event, like pull up a fly, make donuts, or do something, and then like have the soldiers come through. And so I think that's where I'm at with this. I'm obviously going to keep it. I think it's really great, even just, I would like to eventually find a pin of some sort, because you would have had a pin to show you're the member of the National League for Women's Service, or I think it's Women's National League of Service. It's been a couple months. I learned a lot doing this. This is the closest to men's tailoring I've ever done. This is the closest to modern sewing I have ever done. This is the closest thing to military I've ever done. And I have realized further why I don't do it. I would probably do this more often if, say, we had an earlier car, so our car is 1928, so it does not work for World War One. If we had a 1918 or earlier car that we brought to these types of events, I could definitely see myself in this talking about the car, because the car would give me a place, and I could explain, and I could have a little printout of what a chauffeur's license looked like back in 1918. I could have the car there. I could explain what we do. I could explain about the car and the mechanics of it, and all the training the women had to do. And that would give me like a purpose in a station, where I feel like wearing this, I didn't have a purpose or a station. I was mostly just walking around, and people thought I was a female soldier, and then got very confused about why I wasn't on the battlefield. And I, explained to them, which was great, and that was great education, but also distracted them from watching the education that was happening on the battlefield. So I don't know really what to do to this impression further. Obviously, it needs to be fixed. It is not anywhere near where it should be in terms of being right. It was wearable, and that's really all I could get. I did have several of the reenactors come up to me and say, "This is fantastic. We've never seen anyone do this. It's great that we're showing how women supported the war. Thank you so much for doing something different." And that's great. This just isn't me. So I think on the list of things to fix, just for future reference, because I will be watching this video when I go to fix it to remind myself what needs to be done to it, is going to be putting pockets into the skirt, which I already have cut out and everything. All they literally need to do is be sewn on. I will put them, they're right here, hang on. Okay, future Caitlin. Left hand pocket of the top, pockets for the skirt. That way I don't forget where they are and they don't get lost. So pockets on the skirt, refitting at the top because it's a little too big. I need to go back and check to see if all these pocket flaps are top stitched or not. I don't know. Collar. This hat does need to be sewn together at the very top. And then we talked about collar, which is blue wool. I'll need to get that. Any type of patches, and then the pin, basically little accessories things, and the belt piece needs to be fixed. The cross strap part. And maybe consider getting myself some sort of sack or knapsack. There's a word for it that goes on it. I think that's the next steps for this. So that'll be part 2, which again, don't be looking for that anytime soon. I don't even know if we're going to Kingsbury this November, because I think there's something else on that weekend that we briefly talked about going to. But that's also what the girls and I are tentatively possibly thinking about, maybe doing some sort of canteen service thing too. So I'll probably end up wearing that. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to the channel. Click the little bell notification so you're notified anytime I upload a new video. And as always, have a fantastic week, and I'll see you back here in the next video.